Aiden?
I counted 21.
That would mean how many total pets are there, Samuel?
31.
Cool. So you have those three correct. Here's what we're going to do with these three numbers. We're going to create a ratio, and ratios were likely given to you in 6th grade. They're fairly simple. If it says compare the number of cats to dogs, we're going to list the number of cats first, dogs second. A ratio could look like 10 to 21. Here's the number of cats, here's the number of dogs. There's another way to write it. You could write 10 colon 21. This is used in English. It's used for lists mainly. Ask your friendly neighborhood English teacher on Monday if you would like clarification on the use of a colon. For math, we just use it for ratios. Technically, that's it. Or Tuesday. Yes.
Why does it have it on a clock then?
Say it again.
Why are those two dots on a clock then? Because it's the time.
The time. It's a colon used for time too. You can also ask somebody who likes clocks and they'd probably be able to tell you. I don't know. It's called a colon. Yes.
Wasn't this on our test? Like for like when they would put the answers, they'd put like a colon around.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, there was something briefly like that, but it wasn't used for ratio. It was just on a test question, but it wasn't ratio use for it. When you're comparing number of cats to total number of pets, we have cats to the total. What's the ratio going to look like? Raise your hand if you have a ratio I can use. You can use any type of ratio you want. 2 colon or a fraction. Spencer?
10 to 31.
Good. You can also make it colon or a fraction. Your big takeaway for ratios, just make sure they're ordered in the right way. If you put it 31 to 10, this is incorrect. You're saying there's 31 cats to 10 total animals. That is not right. It is very specific with how it's ordered. That will come into play later. Before moving on, raise your hand if you can find Mr. McAtee's cat. Where's my cat, Maddie?
It's between the top dog and the
Ta-da! This is my cat. Fun story. About a year and a half ago, my wife hates cats. She came home in March, almost 2 years ago, and she had a cat in a little kennel thing. She bought a cat or adopted it from the shelter. Like, what the heck are you doing? You have a cat in the house. She's like, I thought it'd be cool. Our oldest son adopted the cat. He's in love with it, and they're all buddy-buddy. About 2 months into his living in our house, he's raised to be an outdoor cat, but he's turned into just an indoor cat because he's too cute to shove out in the rain and have him go missing. However, I was doing the dishes one day, and he hops on the table, and I'm like, oh, get off the table. You're not supposed to be there. I look away, and I look back, and he's standing up. Like that! Staring at me for 30 seconds. He just was chilling. I'm like, you are not a cat. This is not a cat. So he's since chilled out a bit. He's more cat-like now, but his teen years were weird. He was all feisty, and he'd attack me whenever I'd walk by him. He would stand up and look at me. Still don't know if he's half alien cat, but he is alive. He almost actually died. We lost him for 5 days. He is standing on a table in this picture. We did 5.
In your house? My cats are just
Outside. Yeah.
Where did you find him?
My cat's breed.
That's a story for another day. Maybe after. I can't move that. Whatever. Maybe after notes. Check the board. 3, 2, 1. If we can get through notes in the next 10 minutes, I may be able to share the cat story of how Milo went missing and miraculously appeared in a tree. Ratios, comparison of two quantities using division. For example, if I say the ratio of boys to girls in this class is 10 to 13, there are 10 boys to 13 girls. That would be a ratio, and we're just comparing the two. You can set it up in 3 different ways. I used the fraction form this time. Ratios are written in 3 ways, like you just saw. You could make it look like the word 2. You can make it a colon 2, or you can make it a fraction. 3 ways, they mean the same thing. Just make sure you're ordering them in the same way. A rate is kind of like a ratio, but it has 2 quantities that are directly going to correlate. So if I were to say, I eat 5 donuts every 2 minutes, you can directly correlate this for if I ate donuts in 4 minutes. If I ate donuts in 4 minutes, I would eat how many donuts?
10 donuts.
10. You could also say if I ate, let's go up to 6, how many would I eat? 15. So rates are slightly different. because they're going to have a cause and effect. You can go up, and I'm a very consistent donut eater. I'll just eat donuts the same rate, and that's called a rate. It's slightly different than a ratio. It doesn't mean if we get another 20 boys, it doesn't mean we'll automatically have 26 girls. It just depends on the population and what student comes in or leaves. That's difference ratio versus rates. Yeah.
For example, you let you for 1 minute you would eat 2.5 donuts.
You're correct. Thank you. And that is directly correlating into the next page. So Dorian, I'll come back to that because that is a very important number you just found. One more thing with rates, then we'll go more into 7th gradish stuff. Can you read this for me, Curtis? A 6th grade football team.
The 6th grade football team has 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, and 5 wide receivers.
Write a ratio of quarterbacks to running backs for the partner. 30 seconds creates the ratio using those two numbers. Go. You can use it with colons, you can use a number word too, or you can use a fraction. Create a
Ratio of quarterbacks to running backs is 3 to 4.
What's another way of writing it, Adrian? If I use the word two, what could I write the ratio as?
3 colons.
Yeah, that works. Or the fraction, that works. 3, 2, 1. The fraction's just 3/4. Brittany, what's another way I can write the ratio besides a fraction form? Yeah. Or you can use what? Yeah. Cool. This is what it means. It means that for every 3 quarterbacks, I'll just put QB, there are 4 running backs. And if this was a rate, that would mean that if the football team had 6 quarterbacks, there would have to be 8. Yeah, you get in the hang of it. So if it's a rate, it's just going to consistently increase by the same amount. Cross out B for now, because we're going to move on. Here we go. This is the more 7th gradish stuff you're going to see in this unit. And it is called unit rates. No pun intended. Units and unit rates is a keyword. Say unit rate on 3, 1, 2, 3. Unit rate is very important because if you know the unit rate, you can find just about any answer that you want in the universe. Just kidding. But you can solve a lot of problems with the unit rate. We'll get into that in example 1. When a unit rate is simplified so the quantity is compared with 1, it's called the unit rate. You need to have a denominator of 1 because the question asks for how much or how many for 1 of something. If I said I eat 2.5 donuts in 1 minute, that is the unit rate. Why is this a unit rate and not 5/2? 5/2 is not a unit rate. What makes this a unit rate? Samuel?
The denominator being a 1.
Yeah, denominator has to be 1. If that number on the bottom is not 1, you cannot say you have a unit rate. All equivalent ratios have the same unit rates, and this is why we can find unknown ratios. The unit rate is a powerful number. You can solve a lot of stuff with it. Samuel? Yeah?
What if the bottom was, say, 0.5?
You could not say that's the unit rate. It has to be 1. What could you multiply 0.5 by and the top by to get to 1? You could multiply both by 2. Yeah, there's ways to get to the unit rate with any number you have. You just have to do some math. Read the note for me, Addie. This is much more what?
This is much more an organization lesson than just about getting the answer. You may discover shortcuts today. They might be faster. That's not the point. Those problems will get harder in upcoming days when your shortcuts will stop working. Thus, every problem in this packet needs to be set up the same way as this example.
If you're a mental mathlete, you'll likely be looking at this example and you're going to say, I know the answer. It's this. Answer. Insert correct number there. If that's you and you're like, I can do these unit rate problems in my head, practice that skill and do it and write the answer the first 30 seconds. However, I need to see then after you have the answer, you need to set up exactly like this problem. Aiden, can you read example number 1? If 2 pounds.
2 pounds of beans cost $6. How much will 15 pounds of beans cost?
For this problem, you're going to start out by looking for the unknown. It's kind of like a variable, but there's one thing in here I don't know.
How much?
I know there's 2 pounds for $6. I know I have 15 pounds. What's the thing I'm missing? Turn and talk, evens, you're starting. What am I missing? Underline it and tell. Go. Yeah, so you're looking for money, right? Because cost is in money. Cool. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Xander, what is the unit I'm looking for? And what unit is it? Is it dollars or pounds? How much would be in dollars? So I'm looking for the dollar amounts. If you found what you're searching for, you're going to place that on the top of your ratio. Right here's my answer. This is what I'm searching for, and we're always going to set it up to the right. If I get to this number, I know I've found my answer. Put dollars on the top. That means what unit's on the bottom, Aurora? If dollars is above, what's the denominator going to be? Tell me the unit, not the number. It's pounds on the bottom. And I'm looking for 15 of them, right? So I need to know how much money is 15 pounds going to cost me. That's what I'm searching for. Leave this to the right. Now that that's set up, you can go to the start of your problem. This is kind of like a scavenger hunt type setup where I'm going to work left to right. Here's your starting point. Here's your finishing point. And I want this ratio to be the exact same setup as the ending point. I need dollars on top and pounds on the bottom. Put dollars on top, put pounds on the bottom. For this setup, well, they've given me a ratio already. Addie, what number would go on the top, 2 or 6? I'm going to pause, actually. I want you to turn and talk. Look at this setup and tell your partner, would 2 go on the top or would 6 go on the top? Go. And why? Explore. Miranda, do you think it'd be 2 or 6? What are you thinking? Yeah. Why would it be 6? Because the dollars matches, right? It's not $2, it's $6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Haley, what number would you put on the top? 6 or 2? 6 would go on the top. Great. Because 6 is dollars, you need the 6 to go on the top to match with the unit of dollars. Adrian, keep your hands to yourself, please. That means the 2 would go on the bottom. If you put 2 on the top because it's listed first, be careful of that. Sometimes they'll do this, the first list, but it's not actually the first thing in your ratio. You need to match dollars with dollars. You've just set up your stuff. And right now, I have a clear path to my answer. Draw a box in the middle and put unit rate or UR. With the Aiden talking 1, with this ratio, I can find the unit rate by dividing. Anytime you have a ratio, you can get the unit rate simply by doing 6 divided by 2, top divided by bottom. What is 6 divided by 2, whole class?
3.
It's 3. So you've just found your unit rate. It's $3 for 1 pound. I'm going to put LB for pounds because I don't have space. Well, now that you have a unit rate, you have something really important. Because with this number, I can solve any amount of pounds I want to buy and give the amount of money I need. If I'm buying 2 pounds, how much does it cost me? 6. If I'm buying 3 pounds, how much? 9. I'm taking the unit rate and multiplying it by however many pounds I buy. So what do I do with this 3, Addie? I multiply it by 15. Take your unit rate and multiply it. What's 3 times 15? Silent hand. 45, that's fine. You can shout it out, so I wasn't clear at the start. You've just found how much money 15 pounds of beans cost. I don't know who in their right mind wants to buy 15 pounds of beans. It's quite a bit, and I would not be likely in the same room as them if they are buying 15 pounds. Dangerous. Could be an explosion. What? Yeah, nice. Next page, please. Very good.
Yes.
Read number 1 for me, Maddie.
Jack can run 8 miles in 40 minutes. How many minutes does it take for Jack to run 1 mile?
With this setup, you're going to start on the right side, and we want to make a ratio. I need to put minutes or miles on the top. What unit goes on the top? If you have a mental math problem that you got the answer for, just put it on the top, but then set it up for me. Put the answer on the side. And then I need it set up What unit goes on the top for this one, Curtis? Am I putting minutes or miles?
I think minutes.
How many minutes? That's what I'm looking for in the answer. So minutes goes on the top. That means, Miranda, what's the unit for the bottom?
Miles.
Yeah. With that setup, what is the given rates going to be set up as? Ethan, what's on the top?
It would be minute
And what number goes with minutes? Good. And then what on the bottom, Ethan?
8.
Good.
miles.
Good. 40 over 8. There's some unit rate. How do I find the unit rate with my ratio, Xander? Take your given rate and divide it. What's 40 divided by 8?
5.
Because the ones in the bottom, I know there's the unit rate for 5 minutes over 1 mile. How do I find the answer for this one? Ainsley, what would I do with the 5? Yeah, and for this one, it's fairly easy because they're actually looking for the unit rate as the answer. So you didn't really even need to multiply 5 times 1. If you know that 1 is the thing they're looking for, you can stop at the unit rate and circle this. Yes. Cool. You are on number 2. We have a lot of absences. On Tuesday, I'm going to switch up how we do partner work and introduce something called clock partners or appointment partners. But today I'm going to